Okay, Mr. Chair, you should be able to unmute on your end and we can get things started whenever you're ready.
I was chatting away there to myself, apparently, because I forgot to unmute. So I'll have to start all over again. So again, welcome to the 111th meeting of the Eastern Regional Service Board board meeting, and it's November the 29th, 2023. So welcome to all the board members. Good to see you all. Welcome to Charles Bone from the Multi-Material Stewardship Board. We'll have some pearls of wisdom, hopefully, later on in the meeting from Charles. He can enlighten us on things going on with all things recycling and whatever else he has to add in there. So all good. With that, I will call the meeting to order. First up is the adoption of the agenda. Be it so resolved that the agenda be adopted as tabled, with an addition of the Voyant Alert notification system subscription under the new business. I hope everybody had a chance to read that this afternoon. It was late coming in. We apologize for that, but we only got our pricing back this morning. I think it was Lynn. So we'll have a discussion on that, and if we need to defer a vote, we can. But we'd like to move that along if we can as well. Mayor Breen, good to see you. So with that, I will move the agenda. Second by Bill. All in favor? Contrary? Carried. Thank you very much. Review of the minutes from our October 25th meeting. If there are any errors or omissions, let us know now so we can make the corrections. I'll give everybody a second. Don't forget, now you're all muted, so if you need to, don't forget to unmute yourselves. Seeing no objections, be it resolved that the minutes from the meeting of October the 25th, 2023 be adopted as tabled. So moved. Second by Rod Delaney. All those in favor? Contrary? And that's carried. Thank you very much. We'll get right into the committee reports. The first one up tonight is the Finance and Audit Committee, and that's chaired by Councillor Sandy Hickman from the City of St. John's. Councillor Hickman, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I have been delighted to present a report on meeting number 105 of the Finance and Audit Committee, November 17th. Agenda item 4A1, Board Expenditures Report. This is the check register and payroll summary, of course, for October. And there's a check register, payroll expenses, and BMO credit card statement. The committee reviewed that with staff, and we had no concerns. Any questions for staff on this? Hearing none, I'll move that it be it resolved that the board adopt the expenditures for the month of October 2023 as tabled. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Mayor Whalen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? And carried.
4A2, Incorporated Towns Payment Activity Report, dated November 15th. No, we had no questions or concerns. Staff know they will reach out to any communities that still have a balance, and there's really not too many issues there at all. Any questions for staff? Hearing none. 4A3, the third quarter financial update. There's a briefing note there for your review. And staff are pleased to note that except for a few expenditures, the vast majority of expenditure items are under budget. Always good news. Staff were particularly pleased to know that due to the great work of front-end staff, revenues receipted at the end of Q3 amounted to over 87% of the annual budget. So it's all pretty good news, quarter three. And congratulations to all the staff for all their great work in that. Any questions?
Seeing none.
Okay, we'll move on. As 4A4 is snow clearing tenders for waste recovery facilities. So we have a briefing note there for you. And unfortunately, there have been very large increases in the year-over-year bids for most of the tenders. And staff know that the current year's tenders are for 3 months of service instead of the usual 4 months. And then we've broken this into two motions because the lowest bidder in the tender to provide services in Pacento was not compliant with the Procurement Act because the addendum to the tender was not acknowledged. So they are split, and Honestly, just any questions there of Lynn or any of the staff on that one? Or Lynn, do you want to clarify that any further?
Well, all I can say is that we've got two tenders. We had two bidders pick up the tender package, and we received two bids. The lowest bidder didn't. Part of the bid form, of course, that it has to be completed is that you have to acknowledge the addenda. It's under the Public Tendering Act, and they did not. So we had to disqualify that bidder and accept the bid that was compliant.
Could you clarify the 3 months versus 4 months too? For
because we're in the process of electrifying the sites right now, and if the temperature gets below -7 wind chill, we can't open them until they're electrified. So we didn't want to pay contractors for the full month of December for snow clearing, just in case they're not fully electrified or all of them aren't done by the end of December.
Yeah, so it'll be a case-by-case clearing, right?
What we've asked for December, yes, is that we will have a contract for January through March, and for December we have the one-off pricing. So if we need to call them in, we have a per event price for each of them.
Perfect. That clears that up for everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make my first motion. Be resolved that the board accept the lowest bid for Bay Bulls, Renews Capahaid, and Harbour Grace tenders related to the 23-24 snow clearing for the waste recovery facilities. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
The next one, be resolved that the board accept the compliant bid for the tender for snow clearing at Placentia Waste Recovery Facility for 23-24. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman. Any discussion on that? No? Okay. Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Bruce. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
And for a 5, the office lease for where we are now on Major's Path. And you can see a briefing note there. And after thinking about it, discussing it, we felt that we'd go extend it for 1 year as per the original contract. And we'll look at tender for office space in 24. We may need more office space, and that would be smart then, once we get that figured out, to retender at that higher floor space. Any questions of staff on this one, or if anything else you wanted to say on that, Lynn?
No, I think you covered it well. By extending, of course, we remain with the same monthly lease rate that we've had for the past 6 years now. So this will be our 3rd and final extension, or our 8th year. So we've had 7 years at the same price so far.
Pretty good. Okay, any thoughts, anyone? All righty. Be it resolved that the board extends lease for office space at 255 Majors Path to 62167 Newfoundland Labrador Inc. for 1 year from April 1st, 2024 to March 31st, 2025. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Vaders. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
All right, we'll press on with another interesting and important item. 4A6, drilling of a water well at Clarendon Transfer Station site. Again, note there with some detail for your edification. We are just looking at a supply of non-potable water for that site. Not concerned with drinking water. That's handled, I guess, through other sources. But there are high costs associated now having it delivered. So we want to drill an artesian well. There was a quote received, but we want to try other suppliers to obtain quotes for the installation. So at this point, we're just looking for approval to install the well, not to actually approve the awarding of a contract. Any questions on that? Or
Lynn, I don't know if you want to give a quick right now we're buying water from the town of Clarenville at a cost of anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 a month. Is that where
I think over 7 years we're averaging about $1,300 a month.
$1,300 a month? Okay.
Yeah.
Oil.
So we figure a well's going to cost us about 20 grand. So we'll recoup our money within a year and a half to 2 years. So we'll have it going forward then.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Okay, be resolved that the board install a well at the Carroll Transfer Station for non-potable water. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Ellsworth. All those in favor?
All
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
Okay, so we move on to 4A7, installation of weigh scales and user cards at waste recovery facilities. There's a note there for your review. And basically, in our meeting, we discussed the progress of a new weigh scale system at the facility in Clarenville, and also plans for implementation of a user card-based system, along with new card reader software. This plan will assist staff in tracking vehicle usage, ensuring that the user does not exceed the designated number of site visits per year. This would certainly enhance that ability because it would be assigned to the user, not to the vehicle. I think I'm right in saying that. In addition, staff cards are required that identifies the customer. There you go. It would reduce the disregard for the guidelines and harassment of staff as well. So committee agreed the implementation of user cards should be completed as soon as possible. And the discussion regarding installing weigh scales at these sites will continue, and with further review and research on this. Then is there anything I've omitted?
No, you covered it all there, Cindy.
All right. Any questions or thoughts, anyone, about that new and improved system?
No.
Okay, no
Ian, did you have your hand up, Ian?
Okay.
No? Okay. No. Go ahead there.
All right. No motion on this item at this time. So another issue for discussion that we had was consideration for varying or two-tier tip fee at the regional landfill. And there's a note there for you as well on that. This is for discussion at this point. This fee is used in other jurisdictions in Central and Western in terms of disposal of mixed or non-compliant waste. Black bags only, for instance, recyclables, mix-in, or any other non-compliant waste. In Central, the tip fee is $140 per ton, but however, an additional fee of $70 per ton is added if the waste is non-compliant. So that certainly makes a point. This additional fee is to encourage residents to comply with the waste guidelines and to practice waste diversion and recycling, which, I can't believe that they even can take it, and it's not broken. Okay. This would be in line, of course, with provincial waste management strategy. Central Board confirms that the additional costs do incentivize users to comply. So that's, of course, what it's all about. It was known that a multi-tier tipping fee could be applied to waste that was collected but was not in clear bags. This could be an incentive for all communities to implement a clear bag policy if the regional landfill require the use of clear bags for collection. However, the committee noted the board cannot decide to implement an additional fee at the regional landfill because the City of St. John's owns and operates a landfill at Robin Bay. C would have to agree to any additional fees for the landfill. So that's obvious. Of course, the city would be interested in having that discussion, and it's something that we should press on with, I think. Any comments, Mr. Chair, on that?
No, I mean, it's a long and meandering road to mandatory recycling, by the sounds of it. And, as we do all of these things to comply with the, modern waste strategies that are, upon us, it's natural progression. And I'm sure Charles will agree with us that, once we start getting mandatory recycling in place, the municipalities themselves that use our services or don't use our services, whether it's Mount Pearl, CBS, their tip fees will come down because they're going to be doing more recycling. And, it's more incentive for them to come on board and enforce and do the best we can to keep the rates reasonable for everybody, really. So it's like I said, it's a long meandering road, Sandy, as we both know.
Oh, Christian, and we must get there. I mean, great move to have the clear bags, but we got to make those clear bags work for us, and that is by enforcement and policy development. Any thoughts or questions, anyone?
Any idea how much that would affect our costs, our operating costs? Like, with regards to what we charge now, we can pretty get a good idea how much we have to charge each household now, because we know around how much tonnage, but we're not going to have any idea of how much that would be extra costs. And I'm just wondering how that would affect, operating going forward.
I would hope, sorry, go ahead, Sandy.
No, I was just gonna say we need split vehicles, split trucks or two different collections, so it would change. Obviously, wouldn't it, if you're having
Yeah.
clear garbage and the blue bags for recycling? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Basically, yeah. But I guess, you know, in the long run, Mark, I think it would help us keep our fees in line or in check so that they don't go from $200 a household up to $400 a household in the next few years. Because if it keeps going the way it's going with the cost of fuel and the other labor and stuff, I mean, we can't hold the line at $200 a household forever unless we make some changes that are fundamental to how we operate. So, I mean, the card system that we're bringing in, you know, the mandatory recycling, driving the, you know, the tipping fees down for municipalities. I mean, all of that stuff in conjunction and going forward should keep our fees in line. That's my take on it.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
As long as the tipping fee is significantly lower for recyclables, then of course, if we recycle, mandatory recycling will save cost, will save money on tipping. Makes a lot of sense.
I was just wondering if, how's that going to affect, like some of the contractors, like pick up the garbage, the waste in one town, and they actually do the neighboring town. And if they're small towns and one got to use clear bags, one got to use, you know, they're going to be still using probably the regular green ones. How you know, is that going to be an extra, like Sandy was saying, probably they want to have to go move to split trucks or a second B truck or.
Well, I think I'm assuming you're saying somebody who's not getting a service from regional service board. So if you're a municipality that's not getting a service from regional service board, at some point in time we may impose on them to use the clear bags.
Yeah, but
if they want to drop it off in the regional facility, if they want to drop it off in Robin Hood Bay,
that's right.
They're going to have to comply, right?
Yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, say there's an Eastern Regional Service Board contractor.
Yeah.
Let's say does town X and he also does town Y.
Yeah.
But town Y doesn't have their contract through the service board.
Yeah. Yeah. So town Y will be forced to comply by switching over to a clear bag at some point in time.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, pick a town that's I don't know.
I don't know if any exist even, but the potential there, you know.
Yeah.
I
guess Glenn. Sorry, Christy, go ahead.
Sorry, perhaps I could help a little bit,
Yeah.
Glenn. So when for our contracts, they are not permitted to mix waste from a non-ERSB community with an ERSB community. So since our guidelines are consistent across the region, it doesn't impact a black bag versus a clear bag community, doesn't have an impact on the Eastern Regional Service Board contracts and collections. Does that help?
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realize that. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
But I guess in the long run, what I'm hoping with the City of St. John's cooperation is that everybody switches to a clear bag. Like I know Conception Bay South, Larry, I don't know if Paradise is having any discussion on that yet, but I know it was on the agenda in Conception Bay South because I saw it on social media the weekend that they had a chat about it. So eventually, Glenn, everybody should be doing clear bag and everybody should be doing mandatory recycling, whether you're with us or you're on your own, right?
Absolutely agree. Yeah.
I was thinking of it more along the lines of if, like, when we go to budget, say, we're going to charge each household, say it goes up to $250 a household, but residents don't jump on, and all of a sudden the cost to ERSB is actually $300 per household because people are not recycling, and we're spending a lot more on the tonnage and stuff. I'm thinking like we would have to get some good numbers and a good idea of what it would cost us, because I think we could lose in the first year if we don't have it budgeted out correctly, right? I don't know what kind of numbers if we have accurate data or.
In St. John's, we're talking
about
immediately once we enacted the clear bags and mandatory recycling. So I'm not saying it'll be exactly the same in other places, but you would hope there would be some more compliance.
Yeah. Mark, if I may, I was going to say, We haven't gotten to the point of costing this out or doing the anticipation, but we do have the data of exactly the tonnages of weights we're picking up and the tonnages of recycling and our level of compliance at this time. So, like I said, there's still a bit of work to do on this. It was pretty much a preliminary discussion at this point.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I said in the beginning. It's a meandering road that we're trying to work your way down, but eventually in the next few years, it should be to a point where everybody's on the same page. And I think you'll see I think the penalty for someone who doesn't cooperate, like a household who's continuing putting the black bags out in 4 or 5 years' time, their garbage won't be picked up, I guess, is the stick part of the carrot and stick thing, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll get there, Mark. I guess it requires further discussion.
Yeah.
The gate is that meandering road.
Yes.
One last item, 4A9, is insurance policy renewal, and that motion was approved by email. Was added to the agenda to be ratified at this meeting. We had an overview of the insurance renewal process regarding a policy. Staff identified along with the current broker, Wedgwood Insurance, steers insurance and monitors have been contacted to discuss the process. The board's current broker, Wedgwood, completes a comprehensive market review on our behalf every 3 years and addresses any recommendations for policies changes with staff. So staff has a good discussion with them. Staff also reported that representatives from Treasury Board and the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure were contacted to discuss this process and the RFP process utilized by the government of Newfoundland and Labrador. Any questions on that or any further clarification? Anyone?
Yeah, no, the only thing I'd add in there, Sandy, would be that, I mean, basically we're down to probably 2 major insurers in Canada right now. And what you have then is a bunch of local brokers. And what happens is the same brokers go to the same two and say, what's your best price? And the 2 brokers or the 2 insurance companies say, here it is. So the only money you're really saving here now is on their commissions. I guess if somebody wants to drop their commissions from whatever they get down, I mean, that's where we're going to save money. But we had a good debate and a good conversation about in our finance meeting with the Sandy chairman, and staff will sort of work again next year to see if we can figure out a way to at least keep it level as opposed to letting it go up. Yeah,
insurance. It's a necessary benefit. I won't say evil. It's necessary and it quite at times and quite needed at times. So we must continue to pursue the best we can. So we have a motion. Be it resolved that the board accept the cyber liability policy, commercial general liability, property policy renewal quote from Wedgwood Insurance in the combined total amount of $161,826 plus HST for the period of November 1st, 2023 to October 31st, 2024. So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hickman, second by Councillor Ravencroft. All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Carried.
That is my report, sir. I shall mute myself.
And a fine report it was. Thank you very much. Next up, we have our strategy and policy committee. Councillor Carol Ridgely was the chair of that particular meeting. So, Carol, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a briefing note from the Strategy and Policy Committee notes for meeting number 88. It happened on November 15, 2023. So agenda item 4B1 is the electrification of waste recovery facilities that remain open during winter. An update is included in tonight's meeting package for members' information. Staff provided an update to the committee regarding the progress of the electrification of the board's waste recovery facilities. Work is currently ongoing with contracted electricians and Newfoundland Power in hopes that this can happen or that will proceed in a timely manner. Are there any questions?
Nope, don't see any there, Carol.
Just a quick one. Is Newfoundland Power moving, is the conversation with Newfoundland Power, is that moving along?
Newfoundland Power, yes. Christy has been the one dealing with them mostly, but my understanding is the approvals from Crown Lands for easements and some of the permitting from Service NL has been our biggest, hurdles. Newfoundland Power has gotten poles installed and wires run at several, I think 3 of the sites now they've attended with poles and wires. So, Christy, I don't know if you have anything.
No, that's consistent with my findings. There's always little hiccups, like today was too stormy to install a replacement pole in St. Joseph's. They're going to do it tomorrow, but Newfoundland Power has been moving in a forward direction. However, we still await feedback on accessibility and fire
Life safety.
fire and life safety, thank you, permits that are in with Service NL, and we have not heard a word from Crown Lands for Renews Kappa Hayden.
Actually, I meant to say Crown Lands. I used Newfoundland Power, but I was thinking about the government. So, okay, thank you. Moving on, there's no more questions. We're moving on to agenda item 4B2. That's the third quarter waste operations report. A copy of the waste operations report for the third quarter is included in tonight's meeting package. The director of operations was pleased to report that there were no compliance issues noted during regular visits to the board's facilities. During the third quarter, 12,382 customers used the board's waste recovery facilities, and 1.8 million kilograms of waste was moved from these facilities to Ravenna Bay. For the same period, 1.3 million kilograms of regular waste and 91,000 kilograms of recyclables were transported from the Clarendon transfer station to Ravenna Bay. In September, the board hosted 5 household hazard waste events. These events saw 52% less customers than our September events for 2022. In addition, the amount of the household hazard waste materials collected is down significantly over last year. For example, aerosols decreased by 40%, flammable liquids decreased by 200%, dry batteries decreased by 71%, fluorescent light tubes decreased by 192%, and propane tanks were down 136%. Staff are recommending that the boards reduce the number of hazardous household waste collection events for 2024, as the province has developed extended producer responsibility agreements so that manufacturers of household hazardous waste are responsible to collect and dispose of these materials year-round in this province. There is no need for the public to wait for one of the board's events to dispose of most of their hazardous household materials, and that was reflected in the low attendance and quantities of HHW materials collected this year. For 2023, 84% of the materials collected by the board could have been dropped off at any time at disposal sites throughout the region. The board developed this program in 2012 because residents outside the urban area did not have reasonable access to dispose of household hazardous waste material. This no longer is the case. For 2024, staff are recommending a reduction in the number of events, as well as focusing on providing these events in more remote communities that may not have reasonable access to a disposal site. Are there any questions? Hearing none.
We have one there from West Ridge. There.
Sorry.
You have to unmute yourself on your end, Wesley. There
Okay.
you go.
I think that I mean this is a good move. I wonder whether if it wouldn't be useful to provide some information to people, to our customers, about sites or how they can avail of drop-off sites and things like that, because that'll, I think, reinforce the initiative.
Yeah, Charles, do you guys have a list of sites or do you have a list of potential sites or sites that are already active for dropping off materials? Or is there such a thing? Is there such a?
Well, Lynn is shaking her head. She knows the answer to that. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
There is a listing.
That's why you guys are the best, because you both know things. So there are a list of, okay, so yeah, I guess the answer to your question, Wes, is yes, we have a list, and that's yes, we can probably get it out on the websites and through our regular correspondence.
Yeah, I think that's in our own interest to be promoting that. Otherwise, you know, we could easily have a backlash sort of thing.
Yep. No, fair enough.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 4B3. That's the third quarter water wastewater operators report. The Q3 water wastewater report for the Eastern region is included in tonight's meeting package. The committee continues to be pleased with the work undertaken by the board's regional water wastewater operator. At this time, we await notification with the province. We await notification that the province will continue to fund this valuable program past March 31st, 2024. So that's just a note. And I don't know if we heard any yet. In the meeting, it was discussed that we probably won't know till the end of January, early February. So it's probably still the same.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 4B4, bulk waste collection, ongoing concerns and suggested changes. A brief note is included in tonight's meeting package for members' information. Bulk collections continue to present challenges, and our staff, directors, CAO, and board chair receive numerous complaints when bulk collection is taking place. These complaints include issues with scheduling, enforcement of guidelines, and the education of the public, town staff, and councillors. During bulk collections, residents, community leaders, and MHAs contact the office thinking that everyone put out for collection should be taken. Everything put out for collection should be taken. The board's contractors will collect a maximum of £500 or one pickup truck load, whichever is less, from each property. While this seems adequate, we continue to receive complaints. As most municipalities that the board serves do not have bylaws regarding unsightly properties, bulk waste that does not meet guidelines for collection can stay curbside indefinitely, and residents and community leaders blame the board for the situation in their communities. All residents of the Eastern region have reasonable access to one of the board's waste recovery facilities, where they may drop off their bulk waste throughout the year at no charge. Staff investigated how bulk collections are provided in other areas of the province. It is interesting to note that Central Newfoundland Regional Service Board does not offer any curbside bulk collection, and there is no curbside bulk collection in the Western region. Residents in those areas must take their bulk items to their nearest disposal site and pay a disposal fee to get rid of their bulk waste. The City of St. John's offers one free bulk collection annually by appointment. The town of Torbay offers bulk garbage collection, bulk garbage drop-off at its depot, or for a fee of $25 plus HST. Residents may request a once annual curbside collection. The City of Mount Pearl offers one bulk collection annually. The town of CBS offers a bulk drop-off at their depot, which is free to residents. If residents want curbside bulk collection, there is a fee of $25 HST included. An appointment must be set up. Following discussion, the committee is recommending that the board provide one curbside bulk collection annually to each property. Bulk item collection for each region will be tendered separately from weekly waste and bi-weekly recyclables collection. Bulk collections will continue to be offered at no additional cost to the customer. The cost will continue to be included in the annual household waste fee. Bulk collection will be by appointment only, with appointment being offered during a 1 week period for each area. Only one appointment per property annually will be provided. Bulk collections will be scheduled from April through the end of September, and when setting up an appointment, the residents must provide a list of the items that they will be setting out for collection. This will provide an opportunity to educate the residents to ensure any materials being placed curbside meet collection criteria. In addition, only these items included when the appointment was set up will be collected. The current bulk collecting guidelines will not change. Staff noted that 5 of the 10 contract areas are up for extension or a new contract in 2024. Therefore, they suggested that no contract extensions be provided so that most contract areas may be addressed at once. The remaining contract areas will be addressed by 2026. Are there any questions?
I've seen somewhere in the recommendations about a limited number of appointments per area. How would that work? Like what is a limited? So if, I'll take Bushko. If we have half the residents want bulk pickup this year, but are we going to say only 25% can get it? Because that wouldn't work. So like what do you mean by limit?
We didn't set a limit at that. I would think that when we collect bulk, about half the households have bulk out in some areas. That would be pretty much the max. That would be a threshold that you guys or the board would determine through the committee strategy and policy.
Yeah, okay. Still up for discussion, I guess. Mark is the short answer. Like again, if 50% seems to be the norm for most people in each community, then we'd look at that. Now if it tipped over to 55%, I don't think we're going to turn anybody away. But again, the problem we've been running into is that you get some of the towns, some of the municipalities, we make a run through for bulk garbage. So we pick up the garbage and we go back and get the metals and that stuff. And in between, somebody forgot that it was bulk garbage time, and then they pile it up on the side of the road and say we forgot them. And
No,
you know,
like
we-
I really like this.
Yeah.
It looks like it would solve a lot of the issues that like we
Yeah.
see Foochco. I really liked the whole thing. The only thing I was concerned about was the limited availability. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, no, I think to answer your question, Mark, I guess my quick response to that was we're not going to leave anybody behind on this.
Yeah.
If 60% of the residents in Pooch Cove want bulk garbage, we'll fit them in. If they make an appointment, we'll make sure that it happens.
Yep.
You know, but again, we've got to sort of get it. We're trying to get control over what's going on because again, it's been a nightmare for the staff. It's been a nightmare for the collectors, and it's been a nightmare for myself and Lynn and Christy because it's been a crazy summer.
Yeah, no, I overall like it looks good, and I mean, if you don't try it, you don't know, right? So
Right,
I think
exactly.
I think it definitely has potential.
Steve, just quick comment. Obviously, limit on each household. We have to do a better job, and the towns have to support us on that, promoting that there is a limit.
Yeah.
And here's the kind of materials you can put out. We need support from the towns on that, and we have to do probably a better job of promoting that as well. And you know, there are, not saying there's consequences, but if there's late placement, then that is an issue that has to be addressed as well by the community and the individuals that do it. So none of this is easy, but compliance makes it a lot easier. We don't have a serious problem in St. John's with collection, I must say. It seems to go pretty well. So hopefully we get that going in our ERSB as well, because it is an important service.
The beauty of the appointment system, Sandy, is so Rod Delaney calls in and makes an appointment for June the 10th to come pick up his bulk. When we go back to him and say your appointment is approved, we'll be there. We can also send them a list of things that are allowed to be in the bulk and things that aren't allowed to be in the bulk, and when we're going to be there. Make sure that you don't have it out 2 weeks ahead of time or 3 weeks after we were supposed to be there. You know, so it allows us to sort of have a little bit of data and control over what's going on there as well, right?
But it would be back and forth communication.
Yeah,
that's important. Take a bit of time, of course, but it's really that'll.
Bill's got his hand up there, Bill.
Yeah, you know, here in Mount Pearl, we did have 2 bulk garbages per year. But last year we changed to 1.
Yeah.
And now we have one as scheduled, but we do have a second one that you can schedule, and you pay $25.
Yeah.
But this year we were considering to remove the free one because the scheduled bulk pickup is so much easier to do.
It is.
We know exactly what we need to get there, and all this kind of stuff. Do we need a backhaul, whatever we need done? Right. So the scheduling of bulk pickup is so much better.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think, Lynn, you brought up, was that people can, when they call in, they can say, I've got a hot water boiler, I've got 2 mattresses, and I've got a dresser that I need to get removed. And we know to tell the contractor then that that's what they're picking up.
Yeah.
You know, so it makes it easier on them as well. So we've got to try something because it's been a nightmare.
With us last year, we had a little bit of fuss when it first came out.
Yeah.
But now there's no issues at all. Now most people are quite okay with it.
Yeah, it's always a fuss when things first come out because people aren't used to it, and then they get used to it, and everybody's moves along.
I think one of the things that's important will be to connect with the LSDs, at least in this area, the LSDs and municipalities, you know, early on, to bring them on board, to provide information so that when people come complaining to the LSDs or the municipalities, you know, there's a common story, if you will, there's a common answer. So it's important to do that work. I mean, I think this should work, but there's prep work needed for it.
Yep, bit of communications. Anybody else? Jamie?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Yeah, we went through
Happy birthday.
4 or 5 years ago when am I good to go? Sorry, can you hear me?
No, I said happy birthday. I think it was your birthday this week.
Oh, it was yesterday. I'm much older today.
Yeah.
When we brought in our automated garbage system, we had a year or 2 without bulk garbage, and residents made it clear that they wanted it, but we only have 1 in the spring, and the appointment system works well. The major complaint we hear, when there's not many complaints, but the major complaint we do hear is that knowing when they can book, and that's something we've put out there. Of course, the exact second I talk, my 2 kids are just at the door at me. Sorry about that. I'm distracted. But yeah, it's the getting that communication out there of when they can book and get those appointments. And it's similar to what you just said, Mr. Chair, at the city. you know, we say we have a certain amount, but anyone that books an appointment will get picked up.
Yeah.
And having that availability to let those people know what you can put out there once we make the contact, I think is key. So no, I think this is great.
It removes the wild west out of the bulk garbage, hopefully. Anyway, we'll see how that goes.
Is there any other questions? So that's good conversation. I'll make a motion, be it resolved that the board provide one bulk collection annually to all service areas beginning in 2024. So moved.
I'll
Moved
second
by
it, Kevin.
It's Kevin. Okay, moved and second.
Yes.
All those in favor? Contrary? Carried. Perfect.
Thank you,
Thank you.
folks.
Governance committee did not meet. There was not a lot for that agenda, so we pushed it off till January. Correspondence from the board to report on. There's a couple of letters there that are in your kit. You can read through them. If you got any questions, reach out. New business. So part of all of this is the is communications, and that's one of the biggest things I think we've been struggling with Lynn and Christine and Craig and I over the last year and a bit. Is how do we get our messages out to these people? We had a problem up in Southern Shore on the week there. Nathan was involved there as well. He was copying on some of the emails. We had to shut down our sites because of the wind. I think it was yesterday, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, yesterday. The wind picked up, obviously, and we were sort of, I guess, hedging our bets as to what was going to happen, kind of like the snow today. But the wind came up and it became unsafe to have people inside of the facilities. Obviously, you don't want somebody, piece of shingle or something blowing across the parking lot and hitting a staff member or a customer on the head and causing injury. So we decided to shut the sites down. The issue that we've been running into is how do you get that message out to everybody in a quick manner? You can use Twitter and you can use, or whatever it's called now, X, or you can use Facebook and you can use the radio stations and whatever. But if you're not on Twitter and you're not on Facebook and you're not listening to the radio stations, there's got to be another way of doing it. So we asked Craig to do some investigation, which you did, and thank you for that, Craig. I know it was a bit of screwing around there, but we came up with this system that I think the town of Torbay is using, and a couple of others. Craig, I don't know if you want to jump in and give us a quick synopsis of it. You've been mostly involved.
Lynn and I went and did the demo with the salesperson or the rep, and Clarenville uses it, and Bay Roberts, who's coming on with us, use this for their alerts. Yeah. A couple other smaller towns, communities that we service use it right now as well. But myself and Lynn have experience with the town of Torbay, obviously. But so this is the company that's in behind the scenes, and the town itself, like Torbay, would administer their own alerts and send out an alert that if there was, say, missed garbage collection or a water issue or a tidal wave or something along those lines, that the town itself sends out the alerts through this particular alert system. And so it was really interesting, the demo that we received, because the person broke. In the time they broke out Carbonair. I think Carbonair uses it as well, I believe. But anyway, they broke out Carbonair into half, and they showed how if garbage was missed in one part of Carbonair, they could send an alert out, and then in the lower part of Carbonair didn't need to see it. And anyway, it was a really interesting, really interesting system. So by default, each person signs up for this on their own, and we don't see it. So which will be a big selling point for us, because especially with the unincorporated areas. So it because they're a Canadian company in Alberta, they meet all the provincial and federal PIPEDA and the privacy regulations. So we don't see who signs up. So we just send the alert out, and it gets whoever has signed up. If they've signed up for the past, like through Bay Roberts, and we take them over, they don't need to sign up again. They just automatically get our alerts as well. So it's because some of our people in our service area have already signed up already. We'll already start with a series of people there that we can access, and then what would happen is that we take the map of Eastern Newfoundland and we make little areas, and we can send out alerts per area. So it's a really interesting system, but it'll give us the ability to pinpoint and to really quickly send out a message saying how if something's going to happen or if something's not going to happen. if something closed, if something is like Christmas for say, if collections are going to be pushed to the next day, and it'll give us the ability to do that
quickly. And Craig, it's through phone, email, or text?
It is through phone, email, and text. Yep.
You can sign up for all three, or you can sign up for one, or whatever you choose, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if anybody has any questions on it. It's a great system. I know the Town of Conception Bay South has one similar, different company, but it's the same sort of thing. But again, we can get into the point where we're sending out reminders on Tuesday evening that garbage day is Wednesday or recycling day is Wednesday, or if you want to go down that road and have that kind of a contact, or we can just keep it as straight as the facilities are closed because of the snowstorm or whatever the reason is, and we can go down that road as well. But at least it gives us another route, because right now it's not working whatever we're doing, or it's working not at 100%. Hey, Lynn. Yeah. So anybody got any questions on that? I don't know. Mark, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just wondering, have we looked at other companies, or like, are we sole sourcing this, or like, because I know there is several that would do this.
Craig, I don't know if we shot
that was the first one, because it was on a time crunch, so we got the information from them, and we were going to go out to look at other ones, but they're because they already have we've looked at other ones with the City of St. John's has Rec Connect, and we've looked at a couple other ones that don't offer the same sort of service area, and these guys are good because where they're already servicing a lot of the communities within Newfoundland, but there's a number of communities within our service area that we have contracts with already that they're servicing. So this one was a bit different in that they're there already, and so it's not so much sole sourcing. We have looked at other options, but the other options just didn't provide the same either administrative functions or ease of use or how customers will sign up for it. And I think that's the kicker with us, is that we're going to have a lot of, it's not like a community, say Pooch Cove. It's going to be with the unincorporated areas, is that you're going to have to convince them to sign up for it. And us not having their information is going to be really the selling point for them to sign up for this. So we're never going to know who's there. And we're not going to be able to use that information against them, really, for billing purposes. So pushing that and having that ability to sign up like that was one of the key reasons to go with this company.
Mark, the other part too is I put a little bit of pressure on Craig and Lynn and to have a look at this, because we haven't sent out our 2024 billing yet. And what I would like to do is get something in that envelope along with the bill and the guides and stuff, talking about this new, communication system, hoping that people would sign up for it. Because if not, we've got to come up with a whole new, document or something in the new year if we prolong it too far along, I guess, right?
Yep. Am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead, Emily.
Okay. One of the issues in some of the smaller unincorporated areas is they don't have an office, like they don't have anybody who's there continuously. I know in our town that we have a system where the alert goes out to our town site and then to the local station, like Eastlink Station, which goes all up and down the shore in our area. As far as Clareville, I think down to here, but it's a really big service area. So it almost has to be something that would automatically go from the board, because there's not always somebody available who's going to put it out. They don't have, like some of them do, but a lot of them don't have anybody or an office where they actually do this work, right?
No, this would 100% be board driven. This would not be like, we're not going to send it to you send it out to your residents. We're going to send it out to our clients, and to the region, basically, right? Or anybody who signs up for it. Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, just want to make one point too. One of the last point on your brief note mentions that this particular company offers a trial period of 30 days, so we can use this and use it, go live with it and use it. And if we're not pleased with it after 30 days, we could cancel the alert system, and we're not out any money.
One of the issues too is with these we really need to get these alert system in place, not just for waste management, but also so many things that are happening in regards to fires, and like it's so unpredictable things are now that all towns, including LSDs, they have to have some kind of a system that relates out to the people what is happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would encourage all of you to invite all of your residents to sign up for it, because again, if there is some sort of catastrophic emergency down the road that we need to have all hands on deck to communicate with, I'm sure we would accommodate, you know, if there was a forest fire in Whitburn or your area, I'm sure we would help you out in some way or whatever we could to notify the public for safety reasons.
Absolutely.
We'd have to put some policies around it, Lynn, I'm assuming, but you know, we'd do that.
Yeah, and being able to, like you said, section off parts of towns and different towns, everything is huge, because if you just start emailing everything out and texting out, then people say, "Oh, I'm not doing this anymore," and they cancel.
Right? Yeah, you can overburden them. I think.
Yeah.
But Mark, I'll use Pooch Cove as a great example, because like when we were picking up your bulk down, when the board was picking up the bulk down in Pooch Cove, I know the truck got, I think, broke down or something, Lynn, and there was an issue with some of the other. Anyway, there was no way of notifying individual areas of Pooch Cove why their stuff wasn't picked up yet. This will allow us to do that, right?
Yeah.
So again, we're looking for whatever we can to get the message out.
Yeah.
So we'll send out a communication to all the towns and so on, or municipalities in our area, or
we'll draft something up. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then see who wants.
Sign of the times, need it.
It sounds like good. Yeah, it seems like a good.
Nobody reads the paper anymore.
No. Oh yeah, I still read.
That's Kruger.
What paper? What paper?
Ask Kruger. Anybody else got any? Wes, go ahead. Wes.
Yes, I think this is a very valuable thing to do, because I know we're at the moment we're looking at our emergency policies and programs, and I've also been talking to a number of people about about garbage collection, some of the issues that they have. This, I think, could dovetail with a lot of those issues, and I think this is a very smart move.
Good. Somebody else was going to say something. Sorry, Craig. Yep.
That leads into one of the things that the rep had said to us was that right now this is for us, it's for the board to take over, so we have 5 administrators, but ultimately, so say in Wes's case is that Clarenville is one of their customers, so they have all the Clarenville region already signed up for it. So to sign up everybody outside of Clarenville wouldn't be a stretch, but then they said if we wanted to kind of amend our agreement, that we could take on some of the local service districts or community under our umbrella and give an administrator role to a community that can all be ranged. So it's yes, for savings on the community side. So it all becomes part of one big massive system, right? So, and with in Wes's point, where Clarenville is already there, you could take on Random Mile and you can take on all the other LSDs around that area, and it'll be a huge number of people you're gonna get, right?
That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, let's get it up and running first, and then we'll test it out over the next 30 days. Hey, Lynn, and see how it goes first.
Yep.
Check our firemen too.
Sandy, you got something there?
Like, so the test period of a month, how would that start? Like, we would need to have a substantial body to make that worthwhile doing. So we would need a fair number of signups. We'll have a few towns with a goodly number. But so how does that process work? Is it a gradual thing, or do we take a period of time to do signups and then do that 1 month trial?
I don't think a month it would be long enough.
I think it's
well, we'll capture anybody who's already using it. I don't know how many of those are. I wouldn't suspect we'll start probably till January, Lynn, would we? So
there's some training. There's nothing to implement, of course, because this is a web-based software, and somebody can download the app as well and just use it through the app. But there's going to be some training involved for the administrator, so I would think it'll be January before it's up and running.
So and through that we'll have our bills gone out by then, and in that bill hopefully will be some correspondence, Sandy, to get people to sign up right away.
Yeah.
And before you do the 1 month thing, is that the way it works?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds great though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. So we'll work our way through it there. So, yeah. All good. Anybody else? Okay. All right. So you want to read I guess I'll read that one, Lynn. Be it resolved that the board accept the quote from Voyant Alert annual service subscription for IceSoft Technologies Canada Corp in the amount of $11,400 plus HSD. So moved. Seconded by Carl. All those in favor? Contrary? Carried. We'll give it a shot and hopefully things will improve with our communications. That's what we hope for. Lynn, maybe what we can do is get Will to draft up a press release as well to get it out to the media, because sometimes they'll jump on board and help out, spread the word out too, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for that. We'll do the round table and go around into the room and see what's going on. I'm going to start with Charles because he's been patiently waiting in the background there for us. How you doing, Charles?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. Great, good evening. It's great to be with you all again. The first item I'm going to talk about today is actually, it's a good follow-on the conversation you had on bulk garbage and the waste management. So the board of MSB has approved an increase in the number of items that are acceptable under electronics products recycling. So I'm just going to read these out to you and just give you a flavor. And the minister has subsequently accepted this list and has notified the Electronics Product Recycling Association that this is going to occur. So the new items that are going to be added to the waste management regulations are floor and carpet care appliances, vacuums, carpet cleaners, etc., garment care appliances, irons, steam cleaners, appliances for countertop cooking. So that's your toasters, toaster ovens, fryers, espresso makers, kettles, coffee grinders, etc. Devices for measuring time, otherwise known as clocks. Personal care appliances, hair cutting and drying appliances, tooth care, shavers, massagers, scales, bathroom scales, food scales, luggage scales, and portable air treatment appliances. That's fans with plug, air purifiers, heaters, etc. So you can see that the list that we're including under this particular program now is growing and going to continue to grow over time. And actually, we're following what other provinces are doing as well. Other provinces are making changes to their regulations. Holly did note that there was a question from one board member about appliances or smart appliances and whether they would be included under electronic products that would be recycled as well. For the moment, those are still covered as metals recycling or white goods. However, we did take the opportunity to communicate with the Electronics Products Recycling Association, and they are taking it under advisement because, again, you know, your fridge and your stove now are Wi-Fi connected and you can talk to them from anywhere in the world. So I just wanted to highlight that for you. That's not something that's, these inclusions are not something that's going to happen just right away. For each of those producers, they have to be notified. They got 120 days to register. And then the Electronics Products Recycling Association, EPRA, has 120 days to get a plan into us on how they're going to recycle those. So it won't happen, I guess, for your bulk collection cycle next summer, but hopefully it'll be there in the years that follow.
Good news.
Any questions on that particular change? I'd also note that we're at the end of our 5-year period for all of our EPR programs. So that's electronics, used oil, waste paint, etc. And we're reviewing what materials are included in those, but we're also discussing with them the collection locations as well. So if any of the members of ERSB have any issues with where these items under these programs are collected, more than happy to entertain a call from you to talk about that as well, because now is the best time that we're having these one-on-one conversations with the stewards.
Charles, when do you think you'll have that list, I guess, finalized? Do you know? Any idea?
Electronics?
Yeah. Well, I guess any of that stuff, any of the household hazardous waste.
Household hazardous waste is going to be, if I were to project,
yeah.
Once we finish PPP,
Yeah.
and we get that up and running and rolling, household hazardous waste would be our next EPR program that we'd be tackling.
Okay. Because then we can fill
Yeah.
in the gaps, Lynn, with the household hazardous waste days where people are having a harder
Actually,
time getting to it.
It would be our wish to turn that into an industry run program.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, do best for everybody.
Yeah.
I'd also note that our community waste diversion fund is closed for this year. So if you have an application in, we're reviewing all of those now, and you'll know in due course. And the last item that I'm going to highlight is that this past week we had our Green Depot operator owners together for our annual session with them. So we have 54 of those. We're kind of like we franchise those. The reason I raised it is that we talked to them about their issues and challenges, but a lot of these Green Depots are in communities that are represented here by ERSB. So if indeed you have any issues or opportunities you'd like to raise with respect to the Green Depots and Green Depot network, again, more than happy to take a call from you on what we can do to make recycling beverage containers that much better. So, Mr. Chair, that's my update for tonight.
Awesome. Good news. Any questions other than, or questions of what Charles brought up or didn't bring up? Anybody? Seeing none? Okay, we'll do a quick around the room. Holly, I'm going from the top across. So, Holly, you're first. Anything from joint councils or?
No, so there wasn't a governance committee meeting this month, which means there was no joint council update. But there is no joint council update because there were no joint council meetings in November.
Right.
So that's it from me. Nothing to provide.
Okay, thank you. Lynn? Nothing? Craig? Nothing? Kevin?
Nothing. Everything's good, thanks.
Wes? Mark? Carl?
Nope, good, thank you.
Bill? You good? Hilda?
All's good in the hood.
All's good in the hood. Glenn?
Oh, everything's good, thanks.
Sandy? Rod?
Nothing here, thanks.
Ron?
Nothing here, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Christy's always got something.
Sure, why not? So just reporting to the board, I did take some training this month. The Hazardous Waste Operations and Emergency Response, also known as HAZWOPER training in my efforts to continue the emergency response aspect that the board may need in any sort of natural disaster situation.
Good, awesome. Good to know. Ian?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Mayor, your Lord Worship, Mayor Breen. All good. Jill?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Larry's always got something. What's going on at FCM, Larry?
Well, nothing for tonight, Mr. Chair, but I did spend the week last week in Ottawa for FCM and Advocacy Days, and of course we were on Parliament Hill meeting with MPs on various things. But of course, as we all know, there's been lots of housing announcements in recent weeks. But of course, one of the things that's still missing with respect to those housing announcements is the need that it be accompanied by infrastructure funding. So that is still a missing piece, and one of the things that FCM is clearly advocating for with its municipal growth framework strategy. So we'll certainly keep at that. Deputy Mayor O'Leary was there as well from the City of St. John's, as well as MNL President Amy Cody. So we'll keep advocating on all those things as it relates to infrastructure, and hopefully see an increase at some point in time in the CCBF as well. That would be great.
Awesome, good news. Charles, anything else to pearls of wisdom that you forgot? No, all good. Nathan?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank staff for moving efficiently on that communications item. That issue come to me yesterday. So just like to thank staff moving on that so quickly, and looking forward to seeing that new communication system put in place.
Awesome. Ophelia? You're looking very festive. If you a little bit more green in there, you'd be all good. You're good? Okay. Well, I guess that's it. We got some upcoming meetings are all there. Next ones will be in January, I guess now. If you haven't responded back to Holly regarding our social Christmas, please do when you get a second. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Ophelia, second by Larry. All those in favor? Have a good night, folks. Good to see y'all.
Here again. See you at the
Thank you.
party.
See ya.
Bye.